Parenting 101, where connection comes before correction. And this podcast offers practical, compassionate tools to help you raise confident, emotional, healthy children through empathy, clarity, and consistency. So, Miss Karen, this is our third episode. Imagine, this is our fourth
Fifth.
episode.
Fifth.
Fifth episodes already. Oh my god. So fast. So fast. And March is already. This is our last week of February. Imagine, Miss Karen. So fast and fast and fast. But people, we are so happy. We are so happy that we are again creating another podcast that empower you, especially if you are a parent. Please do listen to us, and for sure, Miss Karen and I will give you the best of the best knowledge and wisdom that God gave to us. So, Miss
Absolutely.
Karen, what will be our topic for today?
Love and affection is
It
the
is
basis
one,
of all of our parenting, right?
yes, love and affection. So,
I
what is
have
all
four
about?
children that I've raised and four grandchildren and two more on the way. And I tell you,
Yay!
I had
Congratulations.
lost two children. I had two miscarriages, and so I was in my late 20s before I had my first child, and that I just knew that my love was going to make this the perfect child. I had no understanding that they came already wired with their own personalities and they were born into a fallen world. The first time I saw my 1-year-old stand up and kick the dog, I was shocked because he'd never seen anybody kick a dog. He'd never seen TV. He'd never seen that kind of cruelty, and I was like, wow, there's a sin nature already in this 1-year-old that's only known love and affection his whole life. So, yeah, even though we recognize that that we still have a life that we're already born nurture we nurture the nature of our child, but this is such an important topic today, and this is our fourth program with parenting as a
Yes, and
parent.
we need to congratulate ourselves, Miss Karen. We need a big, big applause. Yes, fourth episode already. Imagine.
Yeah.
And parents out there, love is not a primary thought through instruction. It's absorbed through observation. People, especially children and young adults, internalize what they consistently see demonstrated. Affection that is modeled becomes normalized. When love is visible, and when love is visible, it becomes believable. What we practice publicly becomes what they practice privately.
That's right. And next week, we're going to talk about the marriage relationship a little bit more. But today, this topic is critical for so many reasons. Even though I was given an example how we still have our own nature besides the nurturing, as parents, we can't change their nature, but we can change
Hmm.
their nurturing. And I know this is true for Daniel as a parent also. And so, is love and affection is the foundation for secure attachment, and that attachment enables children to develop confidence, resilience, and emotional regulation, their ability to control themselves. So when we consistently meet our child's needs with warmth, physical touch, and have attuned attention, purposeful attention, then we can stimulate in our child healthy brain development and lower cortisol levels. So we stimulate the good hormones and we absolutely avoid the bad hormones in our child, and this creates like a protective force, like s- a force shield to protect our children from things that they don't have control over, and we foster their self-esteem. It actually gives them better academic performance, and
Mhm.
stronger interpersonal skills. And these things can persist into adulthood. So, what Daniel and I are talking about today are these foundational things that we can do with our little tiny children that will stay with them and change their life and make it better their whole lives through.
Very well said, Miss Karen. Modeling love before them means making respect observable. It includes tone of a voice, body language, patience, and active listening. Affection is often communicated in small, consistent gestures rather than grand displays. A calm response during disagreement teaches more than a lecture on kindness. What they witness repeatedly shapes their relational blueprint. Modeling love with them involves direct engagement. It requires eye contact, physical warmth when appropriate, and emotional presence. Love becomes tangible when shared in real time. This active participation builds emotional security. Security strengthens identity.
Absolutely right. Now, I had brought to my marriage 2 children. My 2 boys were very young when their dad left us. And so I was a single mom for 6 years, and I met my husband in church, and he had never been a parent. So he became a step parent before he became a parent. And that was so challenging in so many ways. They still wanted their daddy, and they joke now because we're all friends that it took 2 dads to raise them. But we decided because we were now older and we wanted children, and if God wanted to bless us with children, we had a son. And it just changed my husband forever having this little boy. And we started reading a book by a Dr. Sears, and he was married to a nurse, and they started writing books about having good attachments with your children. And they even have one now called the Attachment Parenting Book. And he's the expert I talk about that says, I used to have 6 theories on child rearing, and now I have 6 children and no theories. Actually, they ended up having 8 children before they were done being parents. And their books are so full of practical knowledge and wisdom. So, we just are here giving you some 20 minutes advice. And I would say, buy their books or buy their audiobooks, listen to their advice if you have young children, because this is advice that we took. We had our son, and then in our 40s, we had our daughter. We decided that we would follow their advice. What did we know, right? And their advice was all about letting the babies be close to you, letting them sleep with you, being very physically attached to your child, actually breastfeeding and bonding with your children. Let them feel the security of your physical presence, because a mother carries her baby inside for 9 months. They're used to that warm environment where they can hear your voice, they can hear your husband's voice, they can hear music, and these things have been proven. So you can continue that bonding by, I know my daughter-in-law had this wrap where she could keep the baby wrapped to her even as she did other work. Just keeping the baby close is so critical for their mental, emotional, and physical health.
Very well said, Miss Karen. Affection builds trust, and trust creates openness. Parent, without visible love, correction feels like rejection. When your affection is consistent, discipline is interpreted as a guidance rather than punishment. Emotional safety makes growth sustainable. Love establishes the foundation upon which accountability can stand. And of course, modeling love requires emotional regulation. A reactive outburst contradicts a verbal message about patience. Self control communicates strength and stability. When offers seek restraint under pressure, they learn how to manage their own emotions. Calmness become contagious.
That's good. That's really good. And you learn very quickly when you have a baby to recognize the different cries. There's one that just says, wah, 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 I'm hungry. Then there's one that says, ah, I fell off the bed or whatever. There's different cries. And that's the way that part of the ways that they can express themselves those first couple of years before they can talk. And when you're really bonded with your baby, then you recognize those cries. You know what those different cries mean. Um, because they've been sleeping close to you, you've been nursing this baby, you're wearing them close, they're feeling this bonding that gives the security that Daniel's talking about. And now we find out, and this is a really cool thing, that they've discovered that this kind of bonding actually changes the baby's not just emotions, but their brain and the way they develop. It actually causes when you've kept this warm, loving environment with your tone of voice, as Daniel's describing, with your closeness, with giving them attention, showing them respect, it actually strengthens the prefrontal cortex, which is essential for decision making and impulse control. And you can see a difference in a child that hasn't had this. They don't know how to control themselves. When they get angry, they respond in ways that indicate they did not have that kind of emotional security and presence and respect given to them in their early childhood.
So respectful communication is also form of affection. Speaking kindly even during tension demonstrate relational maturity. It shows that disagreement does not equal disconnection. Healthy
Mm.
conflict, when modeled properly, becomes a lesson in emotional intelligence. This prevents fear based communication patterns. And also, affection must be consistent to be credible. Sporadic warmth creates confusion. Predictable love builds reliability. When people know affection will not be withdrawn during mistakes, they develop resilience. Stability fosters confidence.
That's really, really good. Yeah, that's so true. I know I had a father that had abuse in his childhood. And because of that, it was very difficult for him to express affection. Very difficult. He was not a hugger. Fortunately, our mother was, so we got that from her, and she would encourage him all the time to let us get close. But one of the things my father did that really made me feel loved by him is he honored me. That when we he asked me a question, he would look me in the eye. He would give me his whole attention as I answered the question. So the kind of respect that Daniel's talking about is he demonstrated to me. So even though he wasn't able to be as physically affectionate as I might have wanted my dad to be, he was very attentive to me mentally. And that did give me really a feeling that I knew my dad loved me because of that kind of attention and respect.
Indeed, Miss Karen, most of fathers like that. They are not emotionally entangled with their kids. But sooner are we growing older, we realize, oh, they really love us. Physical expression of affection, as we are talking about, when appropriate, reinforce emotional connection. A measuring touch or a reassuring touch, a handshake, a warm embrace communicate presence. These gestures signal safety. Safety reduces anxiety. Affection expressed appropriately strengthens bonds. And of course, our verbal affirmation is another powerful model of love. Words shape internal narratives. When encouragement is spoken consistently, self belief expands. Affirmation teaches individuals how to speak kindly to themselves and others. Language construct emotional atmosphere.
That's good. And, touch can be physical touch can be purposeful, just like Daniel's talking about. It doesn't have to be hugs and kisses. It can be just a shoulder touch. It can be just sitting close proximity, being there for them. These kind of small, consistent gestures, they can reinforce trust and intimacy also. And what I was describing, my father, he was giving me attention. He would notice me. He'd notice my answers to questions. Even when I wasn't talking or having great answers, he didn't disrespect them. He would stay engaged, and he'd prioritize these little things, even when he was busy, that helped me understand that my strong, intelligent father valued me, found value, and that was so powerful and made a big difference in my life. And what scientists are discovering, that when you have childhood affection, it links us to improved mental health. It lowers behavioral problems, and makes for more stable romantic relationships in adulthood. Children who receive loving and affectionate response from their parents are better equipped to navigate risky behaviors and make positive life choices. These things have been measured and are real, worth it. If you're a parent and it's hard to do these things, remember you are changing their life for the better as you do these things. If you're recognizing that you are the grown up that didn't have this, these are things you can get from your heavenly Father, because He knows if you need it, you can get it from Him emotionally and mentally and physically.
Certainly. Modeling forgiveness also demonstrate mature affection. Holding grudges teaches bitterness. Releasing offense teaches restoration. When reconciliation is practiced visibly, conflict becomes a pathway to growth rather than division. Forgiveness is love applied under pressure. And of course, love is demonstrated through attention. Undivided presence communicates value. Distraction diminishes connection. When someone feels heard, they feel important. Attention is one of the most powerful forms of affection.
When my children didn't feel like I was paying attention, they would just say, "Mama, mama, 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 mama." And I would say, "I'm going to change my name." And they would go, "No, don't change your name." Because that was for real. They just wanted my attention. And even if I was in the same room or in the car and I'm not on the phone or doing anything else, just driving. They just really wanted to know at that moment that mama was paying attention to them. So, these are things that we can do and sometimes do better than other times. But, one of the things that is also part of love and affection is creating boundaries for our children, and appropriate boundaries. And we have the joy of having a 1-year old grandbaby in our house, and who's starting to walk. And of course, we've created boundaries where he's allowed to go, where he's not allowed to go. And I've watched this because he's only known affection, he's only known love in his life. He respects our boundaries. And so, as my husband and I are getting to enjoy this grandbaby time, we notice that when we say no, and he may want to test it, but he looks at us. He's noticing, we're watching him, we're paying attention. And those the ability to, balance your parenting with clear, consistent boundaries really creates a safety in their soul that is truly makes them feel loved and guided in deeper and deeper ways than you can imagine.
Very well said, Miss Karen. Parent consistent affection builds emotional literacy. When feelings are acknowledged openly, others learn to identify and express their own. Emotional vocabulary reduces confusion. Naming feelings reduces their intensity. Love encourages honest emotional expression. And of course, modeling affection also includes honoring boundaries. Healthy love respect individuality. It does not control or manipulate. When boundaries are upheld with kindness, mutual respect develops. Respect sustains long term connection.
It does. You know, they even have been researching these kind of things at the major universities, Duke University in the United States. They followed some people from their early childhood for 30 years, and they found out they grew up happier, more resilient, less anxious as adults when they got lots of affection as children. And even from 8 months old, they just would watch the interactions of the parents with the babies and do some developmental tests. And they even said, "Do you have affection? Are you extravagant with your praise and affection, or not so extravagant?" They had a 1 to 10, even what normal about. Just a few said, "Wow, we have extravagant." So they studied these people who said their parents were extravagant in their affection. They were caressingly affectionate, and these people were much less showing stress and anxiety as adults. They had less hostility, they had less stressful social engagements and interactions, and less psychosomatic symptoms. So, as they study that when we feel love and affection, that oxycontin is released in our brains. It's a chemical that makes a person feel that love and connection, and way less of cortisol, which is the stress chemical. And so you can't be too affectionate with your children. This unconditional love, which is a divine thing, and affection from a parent can make and makes a child feel emotionally happier and less anxious. And it sustains them into their adult life.
Certainly, Ms. Karen, affection must align with integrity. Public displays of love must match private behavior. Inconsistency erodes trust. Authentic love is coherent across environments. Integrity gives affection credibility, and of course, ultimately, modeling love before and with others creates generational impact. What is demonstrated becomes duplicated. Affection that is visible becomes habitual. Habitual love transforms families, communities, and relationships. We love is modeled consistently. It multiplies naturally.
It is so true. This love and affection, we never, never let off desiring it and needing it in our lives. But when you are a parent and you have the chance to hug and love and kiss on your children, do it. And make sure you also pray over them, because then they feel the security of their Heavenly Father and His presence in their lives too. So be happy and positive in your parenting, ladies and gentlemen, parents one and of young and old children. It's never too late to show affection and love to your children.
Yes, people, it's not too late. Love your kids because they are your legacy to the world. So, Miss Karen, would you like to plug in something?
Yes, I have the privilege to be in podcast with Mr. Podcast himself, Daniel Lucas. We also do, besides parenting, we also do Bible Verses 101, Coaching 101, and we do love letters together. People learning how to find healing and help within their relationships. So please listen to our podcast, comment, let us hear from you.
Yes, people, support us and please listen to us on Live 365. If you don't like our podcast, our live streaming, we're live on 365 Radio. It's an online radio, so please do support us over there. And of course, our radio talks in the United Kingdom. So, Miss Karen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. And remember, listeners, we love you. God bless you.
More to come, people. See you soon.